Morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Mr. Rob here with Mr. Cerrone. We are going to show you how to play a game called Coordinate Place 4. Many of you have probably played Connect 4 at some point in time. The only difference with this is we're going to be using the coordinate grid. So our real goal today is to teach you where do you put the x-axis, where do you put the y-axis, and how do we work in with our coordinate pairs like that. Mr. Cerrone, anything to add?
Well, everybody's played Battleship, and this is similar to Battleship. So we're looking for coordinates, and that's all.
Okay, so Mr. Cerrone and I are going to play against each other right here. I'll be the red marker, and Mr. Cerrone is going to be the blue markers over here. So myself going first, I'm going to place this marker here, right in the middle. Obviously in Connect 4 you can't do that. Mr. Cerrone was talking about Battleship. You have to know the coordinate though. So what I do first is I look at my x-axis. That's how far I'm going left to right. And if I look, I ended up at the 3. And I go up, and that's also 3. So that's my y-axis. So my coordinate pair that I'm going to write down here is going to be 3, 3. Right, so that one's the same forward and backwards. So now it's Mr. Cerrone's turn to take his marker and put it where he chooses.
And my goal is to try to block Mr. Rob to getting 4 dots in a row. So I'm going to take mine, and I'm going to place mine at this spot. And my coordinates for this is, I'm going to take a look at my x-coordinate, start here, from 0 all the way over to 5. So my x-coordinate is 5. And my y-coordinate going upward is 3. So mine is 5, 3. Turn it over to Mr. Rob.
All right. So Mr. Cerrone is trying to block me going this way. So I'm going to. That's right. So I'm going to try to make a vertical 4 in a row. I'm going to put my dot here. And again, following the same sequence, x comes first, then comes y. You can remember that because x comes before y in the alphabet. So I go over before I go up. So I went over 3, and I went up 1, 2. So my new next coordinate is 3, 2.
All right, so I'm going to block him, and I'm going to stop him from going 4 in a row, and I'm going to go over 3, up 4. So I'm going to go over 3, x coordinate, up 4. The block is made.
All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Mr. Cerrone block me another direction yet. So again, x comes first. My x-coordinate is going to be 3. My y-coordinate is going to be 1. So my coordinate pair is going to be 3, 1.
Got to block him. I'm putting it right there. Now this is a x-coordinate 3, but I am still on 0. So my y-coordinate would be 0. So I go 3. And my y-coordinate on the same line is at the 0, so there we go. I got a block right there.
Right. So looking at this, I can go up and down. He's blocked me both ways. I can try to go horizontally, or I can play on a diagonal pattern as well. So I think my next move is going to be to move this dot here. And so my coordinate point for this one, I went over 2 on my x-axis, and I went up 2 as well. So my coordinate pair is 2, 2.
I will block him going this way. I am going x-coordinate 1, y-coordinate 2. So I'm a 1, 2 right there.
Cerrone, you want to stop here? It looks like you're doing a great job blocking here.
I think you guys got the gist of it, but remember, you always have to have your x-coordinate first and your y-coordinate second. So that's important.
All right, so we've introduced this, how you find those. Remember, you can always email us or however your teacher has said that when you have questions, how to contact them. Your student book page that you're being assigned today is page 205. This has, I'll stand up for a second. This has nothing to do with what we've learned today, but it's a great review about what happens when you multiply and divide by the powers of 10. Mr. Cerrone, you want to talk about the home connections they
The
need
home
to do tonight?
connection is going to be an actual, where you're going to be plotting your coordinates on the paper that's here. So it's going to be, for us, it's going to be Unit 6, Module 1, Session 2, pages 111 and 112 are going to be what you are going to do. They're going to give you coordinates. They're going to ask you to put them on. Down here, they're going to ask you to name coordinates. And then you are going to be talking about plotting points on a graph. And this information is there. We'd like you to try the challenge and do the best you can. And again, when you are done with your assignments, you are going to be taking a picture of them and you are going to be sending them to us, to your teacher, not to Mr. Rob and ourselves. If you're in my class, you send it to me. If you're in Mr. Rob's class, you send it to Mr. Rob. If you're in Ms. Mozinski's class, you'll send it there, and Ms. Stollenworth, you'll send it there. So make sure that you do that, so that we can see that you completed your homework.
All right. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Hey, take care, guys.